Hey guys, I just wanted to say something about this Australian couple that I picked up in Anaheim and gave a ride to Buena Park to medieval times. We had a pretty good conversation. They were fun to talk to. The guy was very interactive. The trip went pretty well. We got to talk about a lot of things, like the vacuum of space, water not curving, quite a few things. The sun and the moon at the same time on the same side of the ball, supposedly the ball. But I just want to thank all the people that have already subscribed. You guys are amazing. Thanks for putting in your comments at the bottom of the videos. I post my email and my phone number on my videos now, in case anybody wants to talk about this. I get a lot of stupid comments every now and then. If you want to actually chat about this, I'm more than open. If you're a subscriber and you want to reach out and talk to somebody about the flat earth, if you got questions about stuff, hit me up.
That everybody does it, and the bigger the secret, the more they'll do to protect it. And so, yeah, conspiracy.
Hello from Matt.
Yeah, that's it.
Already.
It was interesting, and I loved aesthetic knowledge. It was just a different aspect of aesthetic knowledge that you have to look for. It's rarely just going to be advertised in books, because why would you?
Do you feel that by pursuing these unpopular theories and beliefs that you are protecting yourself, or do you find that you're exposing yourself even more to the elements?
Well, there's something to be said for ignorance is bliss. Obviously, you're a happier person if you don't know all the horrible things that are going around you. But at the same time, truth does add, I believe, adds depth to your life and adds a clarity and answers a lot of questions.
This is such an interesting driveway.
It is, isn't it?
Funny one.
It trips me out every time I come in here, dude. Like, I always think I'm doing something wrong. Like, like I feel like I'm on the wrong side, or like I'm driving down the middle or something, Medieval times is a lot of fun.
Is it? Cool. That's good. It looks fun.
Personally, I think it used to be just a little bit better.
Okay.
Just because of the food they used to serve.
Oh, right. What they used to serve?
Well, they used to give you a whole Cornish hen.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And now, they basically give you like a leg and thigh.
Okay.
Almost like you went to like El Pollo Loco and,
Yeah.
Like, personally, I thought it was really cool getting like a whole little chicken.
Yeah.
But beside that, pretty much hasn't changed a whole lot.
That's good.
It's always a good time. It's always fun. Apparently, they have really good drinks there as well.
Oh, cool. How's your night going?
You know what? I just started driving right now for Uber tonight.
Oh, cool.
I was delivering packages for Amazon earlier.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And then I was just hanging out.
Yeah, nice.
Because there's a whole ton of traffic, and I don't like traffic.
No.
That's why I set the destination for my grandparents' house, because they live right here in Covina. It's not that far away.
Right.
And I figured I'd pick up trips on the way there.
Yeah, why not?
And happen to grab you guys.
Excellent. That'd be good.
And it sounds like you guys are from across the pond.
So
We are. Do you know where would you guess we're from?
Australia?
Yes.
I talk to a lot of people from around the world. So.
Yeah, cool. That's good.
Well, and not even just for Uber, because I started getting into, started asking a lot of questions about a lot of things.
Okay.
Like how, because, okay, being from Australia, you guys know that you guys are on the other side of the ball, right?
That's true. Yes.
From where we are right now, right? So, if the sun and the moon can be seen here in Southern California, that would mean that there's nothing over Australia's sky, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Well, so what do you do when you see the sun and the moon at the same time? How do you reconcile that? Because I started thinking about that one day. I was out here, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I look up, and I'm looking at the moon on a blue sky. And I look over here, and I see the sun, and I'm like, wait, what's in the sky on the other side of the world?
Yeah.
And I looked, and it turned out that you guys were looking at 3/4 of a full moon like I was.
Oh, really?
Really?
Okay.
How can that happen, though?
Yeah.
That made no sense. So I started digging into things.
Yeah, yeah.
Turns out most of what we've been taught in school is a complete lie.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, right?
So, what do you mean by that? Like, is it...
Like, okay. Some people try to tell me that I'm an idiot because I started realizing, like, okay, when you see Venus at night or with a dark sky, right? That makes no sense. Because if you think of the order of the planets, it goes the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and then Earth.
Yep.
And we're all on a circle, right? Around the sun.
Yeah, yep.
The way we're taught.
Yeah.
Try to draw that out on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And think about why we see things at night the way we do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
why is the sky dark? Because we're facing away from the sun.
Yep.
But Venus is in between Earth and the sun.
Okay.
So you have to be looking in the direction of the sun to even see Venus.
Oh, true.
Right?
Yeah.
If it's on a smaller inside orbit, circle, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. Fair enough.
And so, yeah, but I'm told that I'm an idiot because I don't understand the orbits of the planets. And it's like, wait, so now you're trying to tell me that every now and then throughout the year, Venus and Earth swap? Like,
Yeah, fair enough.
like, I mean, so for part of the year, Venus is the third planet from the sun, and Earth is the second if we're seeing it at night? Well, and on top of that, you guys ever seen water freeze in the shape of a curve?
No.
Exactly. Like a 20-mile lake, right? There should be a couple 100 feet of curvature on that. When it freezes freaking flat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So, again, it doesn't make any sense by what we're told, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, regardless of what you want to think of gravity or not,
Yeah.
making the liquid water curve, okay? When it freezes, are you trying to tell me that gravity lets go of it to let it freeze flat? Like,
Yeah, that's fair enough.
uh, well, like we said, water's always flat, right? It's always level.
Yeah.
How much of the world is covered in water? Right? 70%, right?
70%, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How do you have a ball that 70% of it is flat?
Yeah. Okay. True. There you go.
It
That's a good point.
it really started making my mind spin around, you know? Like,
Yeah,
and then on top of that, you see things like the International Space Station, right?
Yeah.
Multi-billion-dollar project being shot up into space, right?
Yeah,
Have you ever seen the inside of the space station?
No, I've seen like pictures.
Yeah, right?
Things, yeah.
Did you notice the wires hanging from the walls?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, go back and look at the pictures again
Yeah.
and start paying attention to all the wires hanging from the walls.
Yeah.
But it's a multi-billion-dollar project.
Yeah.
How did that get approved to get launched into space?
Fair enough.
Why aren't the wires behind panels?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
That's true.
it
There you go.
really makes you think about a lot of things, man.
It does, yeah.
Like, yeah, that whole water thing.
Yeah. So how, like, have you looked into sort of like how they try and explain? Is it all just like gravity or something? Is that what they?
That's just about the answer for everything, dude.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And you know what? To be honest, you dig into a little bit of the history of gravity with Newton, and like we're taught that Newton was like the gravity genius, right?
Yeah.
Well, turns out Newton didn't know crap about gravity. Cavendish is the guy that figured it all out, like 150 years later.
Oh well. There you go.
Because Newton's equation that he came up for gravity, he didn't know like half of the variables in that equation.
Oh, okay.
So there was no way to solve for the equation.
Yeah.
You had to wait 150 years for Cavendish to come along before you can finish that equation.
Right. Okay.
So why did anyone care about Newton's ideas?
Yeah. True.
To me, what it really looks like is somebody later on saw this information over here and this information and went, hey, you know what? If we put those together, we can make this happen, you know?
Yep.
It just doesn't... no pun intended, but it seriously does not hold any weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or how fires don't burn without oxygen. Like a vacuum, right? Doesn't have any oxygen in it.
No.
Space is a vacuum. How the hell are those rockets working up there?
Yeah. True.
And I mean, these people can call me an idiot all they want, but there's a video of the lander when it leaves the moon, right?
Yep.
And when it blasts off, you can see a rocket trail,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's in a vacuum.
Very interesting.
It's a lot of things that you really don't think about,
No.
you know?
Yeah.
But to me, when I stop and think about it, it's like logically, the stuff we're being told doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Yet, I get told by all kinds of people that I'm just an idiot and I don't understand what they're actually telling us. And it's like, no, I'm understanding.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
No, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
But what do I know? I'm an Uber driver, so.
Oh, you obviously looked into it quite a bit, so yeah.
Well, like, do you guys feel like you're spending 1,000 miles an hour?
Not really. Sometimes. No, not really.
Maybe after a couple of drinks, right?
That's right.
But like on a daily basis, do you feel like you're spending 1,000 miles an hour?
No.
But you are spending 1,000 miles an hour by what you're told.
Yeah. That's true.
But nobody feels it.
Yeah.
I just find it interesting that everything seems to be all fast backwards, you know?
Yeah.
Besides that, how's the land down under?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, can't complain. It's good to be over here, seeing another part of the world. Yeah, it's alright. It's coming into our summer at the moment, so it'll be pretty hot where we're from.
Yep, while it cools off over here, it warms up over there.
Yeah, that's right. How what are the winters like here? Are they pretty?
In California?
Yeah, that'd be right. Eh?
There really isn't no winter.
Yeah, it's like where we're from, Queensland.
Yeah,
It'd be pretty similar temperatures, I think.
Like, that's one of the running jokes of California is that we have like 2 seasons.
Yeah, we're the same.
We have sunshine and rain.
Yeah, yeah, we're very much the same. But that's sort of about halfway up Australia, so it's pretty similar climates, I think. Whereas Sydney and Melbourne get cold in winters, and it's pretty standard, really.
Another thing I find kind of interesting, like when you look at a globe, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of weird how all the land is on one side of it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when you look at a globe, like, you can almost see all the continents on one side, and on the other side, they're just telling us it's a bunch of water.
Yeah.
That's just kind of weird.
It is.
Or, like, when you look at the weather patterns, right? Like, when you see the radar and stuff.
Yeah.
When you check out those weather patterns, they go like this around the globe, right? Like, they're constantly up and down and sideways and wiggling around, right?
Yeah.
What's interesting is if you lay that weather pattern out on an AE map, which is it's called the azimuthal equidistant map.
Okay.
And it's a circular map.
Right, okay.
Technically, it's a circular flat map. And when you lay it out on that map, the weather pattern makes a perfect circle.
Oh, okay.
Which makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah.
So, yep. I mean, it's just like information from over here, information from over there, you know?
Yeah.
And then you're able to just piece it all together.
Yeah, that's right.
And we must have just hit the 91.
Look at that.
Good news is you guys only got 7 minutes to where you're going.
Friends giving me traffic updates.
Was it?
So how long are you guys down here for?
We've been we went to New York, Memphis, and Nashville, so we've been,
You're just working your way across the country then.
yeah. So we got in yesterday to California, so we're here for a week. And then...
Where's next? Hawaii?
Hawaii, yep.
Holy crap! That's funny. Well, I just figured it seemed like you guys just kept moving west.
Yeah,
like,
that's right, yeah.
We're chasing the warmth.
Yeah.
Go where it cools down first.
Yeah, I was looking at the New York weather and I was like, well, in our language was like 7 degrees, which I don't know how much that is in Fahrenheit, but it's quite cold.
Being from Brisbane, we don't do well with it being too cold. We just don't own the clothes.
It'd be like California.
Yeah. So we went New York first, so East Coast before it gets too cold.
that was a smart idea.
Yeah.
How'd you like New York?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Brilliant.
Loved it.
Really, really good.
I hear it's a nice place to visit. From what I hear, I probably wouldn't want to live there. I think it would be too hectic on a daily
You
basis.
can actually feel that it would be just too much, and the city's very, very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But God, it was amazing to visit. There's just so much in such a comparatively small space. It feels very big when you're there.
Yeah, it is.
Huge, but when you think about it,
you've gone like 3 miles, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's right.
It's just, and the amount of stuff.
Yeah.
You turn a corner and
yeah, but it's all stacked on top of each
Yeah,
other.
it is. It's an interesting place, but yeah, I really loved it. And Nashville was good. Memphis is a bit run down.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sad to hear.
Yeah.
a bit dangerous as well, actually.
Yeah, it just didn't feel safe on the streets. You could just tell, it just had that vibe to it.
Wow.
It's really want to walk the streets, basically. Yeah, it's a shame.
Sorry to hear that one.
Yeah.
Thanks for the update, though. I'll be sure to cross Memphis off my list.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of always wanted to go there just to see all the like Elvis Presley crap, you know?
Yeah. I think it'd be good for that, but you know, I wouldn't really.
You'd go for a day or two. No
Yeah, that's right. Don't need it.
Or you know what? Maybe I wouldn't go to Memphis. I'd rather go to like Graceland.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we didn't actually get out to Graceland in the end. Yeah. Oh, well. But no, Nashville was good. Nashville was actually really good.
It was a good change of pace. New York was incredibly busy.
And then it was smart of you to skip the desert in the middle of our country.
Yeah. We were thinking about going to Vegas, but we just thought you could miss this time and we'll go next time.
Well, Vegas is always fun.
Yeah. We're on our honeymoon, so we thought it might not be the greatest vibe for a honeymoon. It might be right, it's a bit of a party, but sort of like a bit more of a relaxed feel, I think. There's a couple of other things out near the Knott's Berry Farms.
Oh, okay.
Why in the world would this have me do that?
Oh, I mean, the first thing you can do is go to God's, because I was looking at this.
Making a sandwich. So do people honk as much in Australia as they do in America?
No. Oh, no.
I had to ask just because it seems like everyone has a horn attached to their freaking
You
hand
really
in America.
have to have done something. So a honk is either, you're about to hit me, please don't hit me. Very gentle beep.
Yeah.
Or it's because someone's been a bit of an arsehole.
Yeah.
But honestly, in the last year, I've probably honked twice.
Yeah.
Both because
New York is crazy. It's just
Oh,
honking
no.
everywhere.
and they honk for no reason. Like, I get it, there's traffic. You're not going to move it.
Yeah.
They're constantly honking.
But it's like an Asia, and they've got like their own language of honking. Like, I'm on the right, I'm on the left. It's maybe like a communication. I don't know if it's the same here or not, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I usually try to avoid trying to speed through yellow lights just because a lot of these streets have like dips for the
Yeah.
water to run through,
Oh, okay,
and Toyota Priuses are very low to the ground.
yeah.
I have trouble getting in and out of driveways.
Yeah. How do you find them, apart from that?
Oh, you know what? Apart from that, I actually really like it.
That's good, yeah. Quite roomy in the back, actually.
That's what I hear. I mean, I don't spend too much time back there.
No, obviously. Yeah,
But no, yeah, it's great. I find it interesting that the people that get in are very, very pleasantly surprised.
yeah. I mean, I'm over 6 foot, and there's plenty of leg room for me. It's amazing.
Well, because I'm only 5'8", and I got my seat up all the way. I'm just kidding with you.
No, I mean, even on that. You can
Yeah,
tell
no, I
it's
know.
on as well, so, yeah, it's really spacious.
Also, people say that it looks like they got into a spaceship because of the way the...
Yeah, that's right. And Toyota's always a reliable car.
You know what?
I got a Toyota.
This took me a minute to get used to over here.
Yeah, you'd be pretty trippy.
Well, because I grew up, my first car was a 1987 Crown Victoria. Like the old, like, American cop cars, dude. Like, the dash was, like, right here, and it was, like, this wide. And the speedometer was right here in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's weird having to look off and to the right to see my speedometer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aha, now I understand why it took us like this. Because it wants us to go up La Palma. Interesting. So how long was the flight from like Australia to New York?
14 to LA, and then we got on the transfer to New York, and that was 6 hours, I think.
Yeah.
So about 20 hours, 21 hours all up.
Wait, so so let me get this straight. You guys flew from Australia to LA?
Yeah.
And then from LA to
It's the quickest
New York,
way.
like...
Yeah. It's the quickest way to do
It's
it.
our most direct way that the airlines will go.
You know what?
Yeah.
Check this out.
To New York.
What we were talking about earlier
Yeah.
with the whole maps, right?
Yeah.
Check out that AE map and look at your route on that, and it'll make a whole lot more sense of why you didn't go straight to New York.
Okay.
Because LA, when you're going across that flat map,
Yeah.
LA's on the way to New York.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yet, if you go off of... Yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, there was a flight from, I think it was like the Philippines to... where was it? It was the Philippines... Dang it, it was the Philippines to somewhere, and they had to make an emergency landing.
Okay.
And they ended up... Oh, that's what it was. It was the Philippines to LA, and they landed in Alaska for an emergency stop.
Okay. Wow.
Which, when you look on a globe, makes no sense. Like, they went to stop. Like, when they could have just gone a little bit further and just kept going to LA.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so a lot of strange anomalies with stuff, you know? Especially flight routes. Considering the fact that when you get on that plane later on back to Australia, when you get over the ocean, nobody knows where you're at, bro.
No, that's right.
Your GPS cuts out.
Yeah.
But I thought it was supposed to be a global positioning.
Yeah, that's right.
I call shenanigans. But yeah, do yourself a favor. Don't believe a damn thing I've said. And think about it and check it out for yourself, man.
Yeah, no, fair enough. It's always interesting to hear different perspectives and different. It's always as long as people have got evidence to back up their claims. It's interesting to check out.
There's also the fact that we're taught the moon reflects the sun's light, right? Reflections still give off heat, though.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So, why is the moonlight cold? Like, if you have like a thermal gun, right?
Yeah.
In the daytime, and you point it on the street in the sun,
Yep.
it'll tell you like 98 degrees, like however hot it is, right?
Yeah.
If you point it in the shade, it'll tell you, what, 10 degrees cooler, right?
Yeah.
So if you do that in the moonlight, it should basically do the same thing.
Yeah.
The light should be warmer than the shadow, right?
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
The shadow is warmer than the light at night.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting, right? Like, and these people still have not taken down their Halloween crib?
No, right.
What the hell?
Keep in mind.
Talk about lazy. And we are here. And where in the heck is the front? Yo, there's a speed bump right there. I don't like them when they paint them black.
So, no, I haven't. And no.
Wow, this looks pretty empty right now. Oh, it must be early, that's why.
Yeah.
Are you guys seeing the first showing?
7 o'clock.
Yeah, I think that's the first showing. I think they usually have a couple.
Everybody else does the same thing.
Guest parking. I guess close enough.
That'll do,
And here, let's do this real quick.
Cool. Alright, thanks, Evan.
There you go. Right to the door, guys.
Appreciate it. Cheers.